Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gooey's Dungeon Dive, the podcast where I, Gooey, rank every dungeon in The Legend of Zelda. And we are continuing the frightening portion of our quest as we take on the Shadow Temple. Like I said last week, this actually acts as a greater piece alongside the bottom of the well. After seeing a dark spirit break loose from the well, and going down there and obtaining the Eye of Truth, we now must dive into this dungeon underneath Kakariko's graveyard. Here, we will discover the dark history of Hyrule's royal family. The setting is definitely really cool. There's all these awful traps meant to mutilate all over, like guillotines and scythes and plenty of spiked obstacles. You definitely get the sense that you're not supposed to be seeing this, particularly due to its direct ties to the Hyrule royal family and the Sheikah people. It's like, what went down here? Looks like maybe some torture. The music itself, it's the same song as the bottom of the well, and it's this really ghostly anthem with different voicings wailing over a bongo track. So, the setting's really cool, and it does a lot of the heavy lifting for this dungeon because honestly, the gameplay and the exploration, to me, is not that special. For starters, the navigation, it's extremely linear. Of course, that's not always a bad thing, but it doesn't really do this dungeon any favors, I think. And it's so straightforward that it's almost a little much. I think the linearity is meant to be intentional. Like the bottom of the well, I think this dungeon was supposed to expand more upon like the illusion and trick element that could I think they were expecting it to like mess you up to the point where you would want to keep the navigation simple and just focus in on those very specific puzzles and making sure you're catching everything and using the Lens of Truth, but it doesn't really achieve that, I don't think. The Lens of Truth use just is never really that exciting, and anytime it has the potential to be, you're pretty much told exactly what to do anyway. I'm not sure what more they could have done with that, but I think they pushed the item to its limits. The hover boots are a pretty neat novelty thrown in there too, but even then I'd say there's nothing too terribly impressive to be done with them. I do think the puzzle where you have to get either blown off an edge or run off of it with the boots into this hidden corridor is pretty cool. But it's another one of those cases where they tell you right by that puzzle about the puzzle. And I think, why not just let me use my map and compass and Lens of Truth to kind of look at the map and figure out where I need to go. But instead, they sort of spoil it, I would say. Even if they hadn't, I don't even think that's necessarily that great, but it's kind of unique. I think if there were more things like that, it would have really done more justice to it, I think. Again, though, I do like the setting and some of the major set pieces. Of course, taking the ferry to the other world is such a memorable moment when you're on this ship floating in the air and you gotta battle some Stoffels. Really spooky, really cool. And there's even that puzzle where you have to blow up a big statue to make a bridge, and I think that one's pretty neat, and I'm surprised they didn't really spoil that one. Actually, it's kind of out of context in that dungeon because it is a bomb flower based puzzle in a way, but it's pretty clever. I like that one. But fitting the Shadow Temple, of course, we see all our nasty enemies come back, and then even a rematch with Dead Hand. But the main event, of course, is the creature who escaped from the bottom of the well. Phantom Shadow Beast, Bongo. This dude's pretty cool, honestly. He's such a freak, though. He's a big one-eyed demon thing that hangs down from the ceiling, and he has these disembodied hands that play the bongos, which also happen to be the battleground of this fight. And those big hands can also grab you and send you flying into this gross green sludge stuff. But, he hits the bongos and throws you around, but wearing the hover boots helps keep your footing during the fight, and through a combined use of the Lens of Truth and the bow and arrow, you're able to, shoot his hands and stun them, and then stun his eye by shooting that, which then lets you get damage in. You kind of just repeat that I think it's fairly simple. I don't think it's too difficult. I've heard different things from different people, but I've always found it a fun challenge. It's fun enough, and it's definitely a cool set piece in the game. Very memorable moment. And after the monster's defeat, we meet up with Impa, Zelda's royal guard, who tells us we will be seeing Zelda soon, and we must help protect her. So, you know, it's summed up so simply to me. It's a cool setting and everything, and I like the connection with the bottom of the well, and just really the other crypts in Kakariko Village. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. It really doesn't. I think it's one of the weakest dungeons in the game, at least so far. I think, let's bring up the big list. No one can read this list as it is now, as it's so big. But I like to show how big it is in the beginning because I think it's funny. But I'm gonna zoom it. I actually think it's worse than Bottom of the Well, which I liked a lot for a mini dungeon. I think that is actually better. I think it makes, even though it's for side collectibles, I think it does make better use of the Lens of Truth, for example. This, of course, has way cooler moments in it, but that's what they are to me. They're just cool scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not as fun. It's not as fun to play, you know. So I'm gonna toss it below Bottom of the Well. I'll put it above Ice Cavern, I guess. So we're in that range. I think we'll go down from Bottom of the Well. I can put Color Dungeon above it. Color Dungeon and Eagle don't really have the craziest navigation or anything, but I think they do better with what they got. Three Eye Rock Palace, I actually think is cool. Like, that's sweet. Actually, that should be higher. Right? Shouldn't it be? Or am I going crazy? Wait, am I about to change Three Eye Rock Palace? And I don't think it really matters. Anyway, this dungeon is below Three Eye Rock Palace. And the Manji, I would say. I really like the Manji a lot. I'm skipping ahead, but I think I could put it below the Demon even. Island Palace. That's another one that is just a cool setting also. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I like Island Palace more also. Yeah, okay. I'll stop short at the Lion. I know there's some lion heads out there who love the Lion, but that's where it's gonna stop for me, because all these other ones, the Demon, Island Palace, Maze Island Palace, Manji, like they jumped out to me as stuff like, oh, I really like what's going on there. It's really fun to play. This is just not that fun to play. So Ocarina of Time, it's just been all over the place so far, huh? I think we can redeem it. I think Spirit Temple is next, and that's just an iconic, great setting, but we'll see how it does as a dungeon. I honestly actually don't have high hopes for it. I know that sounds weird, but it'll definitely do better than this, though, I think. So, we'll see. We're getting close to the end, so let's get excited, I guess. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks everyone for watching. I will see you next week.